Imagine being so good at sports that you not only play every single game during your sophomore season on the Stanford women's soccer team, but the same year you also qualify for the Winter Olympics. And you do all of that at just 20 years old. Welcome back to Olympic Winter is Coming, the series where I'm telling you everything you need to know ahead of the games in February. This is Sammy Smith, and she is the definition of athletic excellence. Most of the time, she's known for being the vice captain of the Stanford women's soccer team. Just a couple of months ago, she helped lead the team to the NCAA College Cup Championships. They ultimately did lose that game, but Sammy had another big win to focus on almost immediately. See, for most of her life, Sammy has actually balanced two sports, both soccer and cross-country skiing. Sammy and her siblings were actually homeschooled until about the 8th grade, and she said that this was because her parents understood that they needed dedicated time in snowy climates so that they would be able to, at such a young age, develop their skill set. And that uninterrupted time for training definitely paid off. In high school, Sammy was already competing on an international level. She made the US national under-17 team and competed in the under-17 World Cup, and she also made the under-20 women's national team. So how does Sammy, a massive talent in soccer, end up at the Winter Olympics? Just 27 days after that national title match, Sammy competed in the US National Cross-Country Ski Championships. She not only won the skate sprint, but also the classic sprint. And if you're not familiar with cross-country skiing, those are two completely different events with completely different techniques. In the classic sprint, athletes are actually gliding on pre-cut paths, whereas in the skate sprint, also sometimes referred to as free, athletes actually carve their own path by moving back and forth in a lateral movement. And shortly after she won both of those events, she went on to Germany to compete in the cross-country skiing World Cup. There, she ends up with a career best of 12th place and outpaced all of the other Americans in the field. Shortly thereafter, when Team USA revealed their official cross-country ski team, Sammy's name was on that roster. While Sammy has represented Team USA on an international level before for soccer, this will be her first Olympic Games, summer or winter. But definitely don't expect it to be her last. Sammy has said that her goal is to make the Olympic roster for both of her sports, ultimately competing in both the Winter Olympic Games for cross-country skiing, and eventually she hopes to compete in the Summer Games for women's soccer. And while it's not uncommon for athletes from Stanford to qualify for the Olympics, what is uncommon is qualifying for them in a sport that is not the varsity sport you compete in. Sammy will be the first student athlete from Stanford to do this since 1984. And it's such an incredible feat to look at someone who at 20 years old has not only competed on an international level for their national team for soccer, competed at a collegiate level for that sport, balances a Stanford education, and in her spare time qualifies for the Winter Olympics. Cross-country skiing kicks off pretty early in the Olympics, starting on February 7th. And very notably this year, it is the first year in the Winter Games where women and men will race the same amount of distance in cross-country skiing events. Sammy, of course, will be one of the athletes to watch in this event, as well as the rest of her collegiate and potentially further Olympic journey. For more stories like this and coverage of the rest of the Winter Games, be sure to follow along for the rest of Olympic Winter is Coming.